Oh, my name is Adam Hosselmeyer. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I don't have anything going on today, which is first time in forever. I think this COVID's starting to wear me down a little bit, where it seems like if I don't have anything planned to do on the weekends, I just have a hard time motivating myself to do anything. So I decided to come out and test some cameras. Just sit in the front of the camera and talk and see how they kind of react to stuff. I got the Rx100 Mark 7 over here, at the A7 III over here, backlit. I mean, it's so impossible. Hopefully the A7 III is picking me up, recording the audio on the Rx100. We'll see how it works out. Anyway, so exciting week of camera releases. And I still really haven't decided what to do, if anything at all. I know one thing, I don't think that the Canon R series, or the EOS R series is going to work out for me, at least the new ones anyway. There's still an option to keep the original EOS R, but I don't know, when you look at the video specs on it, it's really not very good. And frankly, I didn't take that camera. A lot of times I wouldn't take that camera with me just because of the size and the weight of particularly of the lenses. The lenses are just so massive and so heavy that I left it at home a lot of times, and they're so freaking expensive. I was always afraid of busting them up. Always super careful what I was doing with them. So it kind of prevented me from taking them in certain situations. I just wouldn't take them because I was so worried about damaging them, and also was really worried about the weight, carrying them things around. I mean, if you really used one of those, it's a significant chunk of glass. So I'm thinking that it's time to say goodbye to the EOS R for now. And I think I'm going to turn all back to Sony for all my needs. Sony finally has jumped on the wagon with the flip screen. Gosh, it took them forever. And you know, we pretty much saw this coming with the cameras that they've been releasing recently, but they just haven't done it so far. I mean, all the full frame cameras anyway up to this point have not had a flip screen. And the flip screen is so mandatory for a guy that wants to shoot videos and put them on YouTube. Like right now, I can tell that this Rx100 Mark 7 is just completely underexposed. And I don't know, maybe I can bump the ISO up. But to me, it's not so much about the framing of the videos, when that has a lot to do with it. But it's more the audio than anything. Man, I've ruined so many videos with terrible audio. Having that flip screen to monitor your audio is just mandatory. I've gotten so many videos back and went to check them out, but they were just completely ruined. So to be able to check your audio, monitor your audio, like on this Rx100, it's just crucial when you're doing this stuff by yourself. When you're behind the camera, everything's fine when you're just recording somebody or shooting videos from behind. But man, when you're shooting videos by yourself, not being able to monitor the audio, it's just terrible. I mean, you can have really super hot audio, or you can have super quiet audio that you can't even hear. I've had both in my time. You go from microphone to microphone, and they all need a specific level to record correctly. Some need a little higher, some need a little lower, whatever the case may be. So you have to be able to monitor that. And then sometimes, like this little ceramic mic I use, sometimes when I'm using it on the go, it'll just kind of unplug by itself, maybe not making a very good connection, and there will be no audio at all. And I mean, if I sat here and recorded a whole clip like this or a whole video like this and got home and there's absolutely no audio, I mean, what are you going to do then? So, the flip screen is just mandatory in my opinion. So the A7S III coming out with that, I think that's a camera that I want to look into. I think I want to move fully back into Sony. I may keep my Canon lenses in case, you know, Canon gets their act together with the R series, but I really don't see any point in holding on to anything, because even if they do, it's probably not going to be. It's just like the little point and shoot they came out with. That sucker overheated like crazy. Autofocus was terrible on it. They came out with the firmware update. It didn't really help that much. So I don't know how much they can do with firmware update to improve the overheating issue. Maybe there's more than can be done than I know, but I don't know. Just not interested in sticking around to find out. So for now, I think I'm gonna jump back into the Canon or the Sony ecosystem, which is fine by me because I already have a lot of the glass, and it's not gonna be much to do that. But today I just wanted to. I really don't have anything to do. It's a pretty nice day. Waited too long to go. I got up too late and messed around too long to go fishing. So decided just to come out and test some cameras around. One of the cool things about the Rx100 Mark 7 and even a new point and shoot by Sony, I really wish they had a different exposure setting, because man, I'm having a hard time exposing for this. But they have the active steady shot on here, and it crops pretty good, but we're going to see how it goes. I really don't think I've tested it just a whole lot by myself. So I just have it on a really small tripod. I mean small, little bendy tripod. So this is active steady shot, and we're just going to walk around here. This would be how one would use it. Just kind of walking around, holding your camera out. There is a crop to this, but I don't know if it doesn't look to be as bad as what I thought it was going to be. 30 frames per second. And the active steady shot. So now we're going to switch over to just standard, see what it looks like. Okay, now we're in standard steady shot. I can already tell you that this is going to be a much wider shot, but I don't know if the picture's going to be much better. So we'll just take a little stroll around here. Yeah, I can tell you it's way wider. Looks like it's a lot more jumpy in the screen than the active, like on the ends there. Looks a lot more jumpy, but it's a lot less cropped in. Again, this is on just a little bitty handheld gimbal, but this is what you'd probably use if you were to have one of these cameras. I mean, the other alternative is to get a much longer tripod, handheld tripod. I've used something like the GoPro Grande, El Grande, and it can extend it up pretty good. And that's a pretty cool tripod because you can put feet on the bottom, like I use a gimbal feet for the bottom of it, and you can set it up. And it'll kind of go up and down. You can use it, I mean, it's just like a standard tripod after that. So that's a pretty good option, but of course I forgot to bring it today because that's how I'll roll. Spent half the day trying to get my stuff together. Of course, that's everybody. But also, that's one of the main reasons that I want to consolidate down all into one brand. I'm tired of grabbing this camera to do this and that camera to do that. I have bits and pieces of my camera gear all scattered all over everywhere, and that's just getting kind of tiring. And I'm starting to lose little bits and pieces like lens caps and stuff like that. I'm starting to lose all that kind of stuff. So really, I just want to get everything consolidated down as much as I can. And I think just sticking with one brand, Sony, will be good. But I'm still going to keep my Lumix no matter what, because that camera, the G9, it's pretty much awesome, and I haven't even scratched the surface of what all it can do. So I'm definitely going to keep that, because that's a really good camera. It's a beater camera. I mean, it's the best camera. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a beater camera. That's going a little bit too far, but sometimes in certain situations, you want maybe not such a high dollar rig on you, and that's where the G9 comes in. It's much lower investment. It still has excellent quality, so I don't have no problem with that. It's just that, I'm not going to be taking. It's not super expensive. So we're going to try out the A7 III next, as far as stability goes. Not to belabor the point of the flip out screen, just a whole lot longer, but just to prove my point, was doing a test of the IBIS on the A7 III. It has IBIS, and then also my lens, the 16-35, has image stabilization. So I wanted to kind of give that a shot to see what it looked like. And I walked all the way out there and then realized that I didn't have a microphone on the camera, which is just great, and was relying on solely on the internal mics. But I had the internal mics turned down way low because I had a microphone plugged into it before the last time I used it. I had my Rode mic plugged into it the last time I used it, so basically it was picking up absolutely zero audio, and I wasn't able to, I didn't know until, it slipped my mind to check it before I got halfway out there through my demonstration, and that's why the flip out screen is just so important, because when situations like that arise, you're able to catch it before it goes too long. But what I was saying out there is the A7S III has the electronic image stabilization, and I think that that's going to be real important, especially with cameras going forward. I think the electronic image stabilization is going to be the way the cameras are going to stabilize in the future. I think that IBIS is really hard to do, especially with wider lenses. If you're going to be using a wide lens like the 15-35 or 16-35 or whatever, when you get that strong IBIS in the wide angle lens, you're going to get the wobbling effect in the corners, and that doesn't matter really what camera you're using. It looks like the Canon R series is going to do that, and of course the Panasonics are notorious for that. Maybe Olympus is pretty good, the Fuji's is alright, but they all have that wobble effect. It's the IBIS with the super wide angle lenses. They all seem to have that wobble. When you zoom in a little bit, it starts to work itself out. It looks like from what I've seen on video, around 20 millimeters it starts to disappear. So, completely. So, if you're going to be vlogging with a wider lens and your camera has IBIS, you should probably try to vlog around 20 millimeters. Now, it looks like to me the future is a lesser IBIS, weaker IBIS, and electronic image stabilization. That seems to be the sweet spot for cameras. So I think that's going to be the future of it. I think a less strong IBIS, an IBIS that's basically just good for like photography, holding the camera steady while you're taking still shots, and stationary shots is, I think, a good IBIS for that. But when you're walking around and stuff, you're going to try to make smooth shots out of that. It creates too strong of an IBIS effect, and then so the sensor moves around way too much on that. It creates that wobble effect. But it seems like to me, from what I've seen on different camera tests online, is a weaker IBIS with the electronic image stabilization, even with the wider lenses, because it does crop in a little bit, is the best solution. And the A7S III is going to have that. And also these are the new Sony point and shoots all have this, and that's why I was testing out the Rx100 Mark VII just to check it out against the A7 III, which doesn't have the electronic. So maybe they can add that in the firmware update. I don't know. Kind of want to show you the stick I have for this Rx100 Mark VII. I'm in HLG1, so I'm trying a new color profile. Usually I find color profile number 1 to be just fine, but I don't know, I want to try something different to see what it looks like. Anyway, it's a GoPro Grande, and the good thing about it is it folds down into a pretty compact unit when you get done. But what I'm going to do is you can adjust the head to various angles fairly easily. So I'm going to hold it out as far as I can on the stick, and we can look and see what the active track looks like at that distance with this stick. I got this El Grande stick here, and on the bottom I have these feet from a gimbal that I don't really use, and it makes a nice base for it. It makes a nice base for it. And also down here I have a Zion quick release. Down here on the bottom I have a Zion quick release, so it can fold up into a smaller package and just kind of fit into your backpack. So I found that pretty useful, and that if you just want to quickly put it together, it just takes it, boom, you're set up and ready to go. Up here on top you have the GoPro, the 1/4-20 mount, and that's pretty much it. And this will fit right into like a water bottle holder in your backpack, or the tripod holder, and strap down pretty easy. And it's, like I say, it's not that cumbersome to use. So might be a good solution for your Rx100 Mark VII. I think this camera, even on this, just the El Grande, just half extended, it's pretty good. I mean, what I like about this is when you have the active track on, you still have pretty good image stabilization, but you can still use other functions of the camera. Seems like when I use a gimbal, which I pretty much hate using a gimbal, it just locks the camera off of video mode only. I don't like that just a whole lot. I don't like having to mess with that. Taking the camera in and out of the gimbal, that's just not my cup of tea. I've really tried to make it work. I've invested in several gimbals to try to make it work, lighter ones, quote unquote better ones, but I just don't seem to like them. Say it's plenty long enough, this stick. I wanted to I was watching videos last night on Sony cameras. I should know enough about them because I've been shooting them forever. But I was watching one guy, and he said to use HLG3. So I wanted to come out and give that a shot, HLG3. And also I noticed when I was messing around with my camera settings that I didn't have the screen on sunny weather. So that's why I was having trouble seeing it last night or yesterday, pretty much all day. And I changed the screen to sunny weather, and I can definitely see it a lot better today. But I wanted to come out and look at the HLG3 and show you the vantage point from the end of El Grande, maximum reach. Probably not going to grade this a whole lot unless it absolutely requires grading, but I don't know if it does or not. I've never used it, so see, the cool thing about using this little sticky is when I want to finish up, I just bring it right down here to tabletop. Hey, we're good to go again. Anyway, that's a video about pretty much absolutely nothing. Tested a few cameras and a couple of color profiles, and that's pretty much it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.